On Thursday, the inaugural 2+2 dialogue between India and the United States will take place in Delhi. The much postponed, in fact twice postponed dialogue between the Defence Minister and the External Affairs Minister of India and the Secretary of State and Secretary of Defence of the United States is a format that is not used much by the United States with too many countries. In fact, India could perhaps be only the third country after Australia and Japan which has been given this opportunity to have a 2+2 dialogue with the United States. And therefore, it is being seen as an important step in consolidating, which is already a solid partnership between the largest and the oldest democracy in the world. In that sense, this is an important step for the two countries which are trying to find as many convergences as possible and minimize divergent opinion on various issues in the international global order. For instance, first the divergence. The United States says that anybody dealing with Iran will have to face sanctions after 4th of November. There is a dilemma for India. Iran is either second or third largest crude supplier for India. And India is of course trying to minimize crude supplies from Iran, but it's not easy to look for other suppliers elsewhere in the world. So there is going to be a problem. On Chabahar, India has an important entry point into Afghanistan and into Central Asia through the Chabahar port, which India is trying to develop with Iran. Now again, there is a problem if India is dealing with Iran on that count. And the third is of course that there is this authorization or the legislation done by the United States Congress which says that anybody who buys weapons platforms, defense platforms from Russia will be will face sanctions from the United States. Although there is a small window of opportunity for the United States where the Congress has authorized the President to give a waiver to any country on a case-by-case basis. So India is hoping that the S-400 air defense missiles that India is bent upon, determined to buy from Russia, will get that waiver from the White House, which of course is a major wrinkle in the relationship between India and the United States. And the third point is that India does not want to be seen as a player which is completely anti-China, which Washington wants it to be part of that alliance against China, but India has its own relationship, own complications with China. So India does not want to be seen as completely on the side of the United States in an alliance against China. That's the divergent kind of factors that are there between the two countries. But there are lots of convergences. Since 2016, the United States has granted India the major defense partner status. Just 2 months ago, it also gave them what is called the strategic trade authorization 1 stage, which means it's easy to transfer technology from the United States to India. And the third, of course, is the defense partnership is extremely multifarious and multi-purpose, where India does more defense exercises with the United States. It has been buying defense platforms from the US in large numbers, and of course the US is one of the contenders for the next competition for the fighter jets that are coming in for the Indian Air Force, are likely to be bought for the Indian Air Force. That apart, there are the small issues about trade which is in favor of India in this case, and of course the unpredictability that President Trump brings to the administration is always an issue with any relationship the United States now has with any major country. But in my view, the inaugural 2+2 dialogue should ease some of these anxieties that have crept in the relationship between India and the United States, and hopefully the joint statement that will be issued will also have the in-principle agreement about India agreeing to sign what is called the COMCASA communications agreement for India and the United States militaries to work together. So there are several deliverables, as I said, in defense, but there are these anxieties. But this dialogue at the highest possible level should ease some of those anxieties, and from here on they can build on the partnership as they go forward. This is Nitin Gokhale for My Nation, reporting from New Delhi.